seen you.
Yeah. No, man, I'm with you. I'm with you.
How's your Thursday? Mine was pretty good. Friday today, so yeah, I can tell you.
Oh yeah,
Friday.
your Friday, dude. My Thursday is good. My Thursday is really good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, but at the same day, Thursday is really good. It's like it's a neat thing doing what we do, and I think you probably can agree on this. It's like we're doing what we want to do. It's like so when I get up and I do whatever I do, and I show up wherever I show up, it's because I want to be there, right? It's
Yeah.
not because I gotta be there,
Yeah,
or
correct.
lose my job. I mean, I probably would lose my job or I lose my clients, but
But there is a big difference when you're driven by a purpose and not profit, right? There's a huge
oh,
difference.
dude, totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
obviously we've got to make money to earn a living and pay our bills and all the rest and get our family to survive. But I think when you're driven by the dollar, I don't think your quality of coaching or your quality of life in terms of the business that you run
No.
is a good thing. When you're driven by purpose and you can help somebody, it's more amazing. Morning, guys. So yeah, like I feel feeling good today. Like it's been a one of those weeks where I think I knuckled down a fair bit on a few things that were a bit weak on my side at the start of the year, and I'm trying to channel them into February so I can hit the nail pretty much on the head for the next couple of months. So yeah, man. I think we're on today to talk about, we'll call them world-class habits, or the necessity of the basics in life that you really got to get through. And everyone's is different. Like, we're not here to preach and say you have to do what we do. You have to get up and do the crazy shit that Scotty does or I do in the morning. No, you don't. You don't. If cold baths and meditation and all that is your thing, do it. If just getting out of bed at 6 o'clock and having a coffee is your thing, just do it. If that becomes your world-class basics and that's something that you need to survive, just do it. But it's good to have a routine. It's good to have something that breaks the monotony of every single day. I don't know about you, dude, but I absolutely hate waking up in the morning with a phone full of messages. I really, really do. And it happens to all of us, right? Because we're all social junkies, and we've got an abundance of likes and comments and shares and messages come through every morning. I figured out a way of, when I go to sleep now, I scroll to the right. I've got a blank screen, so I don't see any messages that come up. And when I wake up in the morning, obviously, I grab my phone so I can see in the dark because I'm usually up very, very early. But I make sure I don't look at least for the first 30 minutes or so at my phone. I do not want anything to break my routine of getting my mind into a place where I can be happy and ready to go for the day. So that little trick, if you guys are out there watching, if you can, every phone can make different screens. I make one with absolutely no apps and nothing on it, so I don't see messages. Put the phone on do not disturb when I'm sleeping as well, and it's the best way to wake up. Let me tell you that, 100% the best way to wake up.
You know what I heard one time? It's like, if for some, like you said, like this might not even be a thing for some people, right? But I would say if it's your first go-to, maybe it's a sign that maybe it shouldn't be your first go-to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's not for everybody, right, Mike? But it's good. It's when you don't have to think about work. You don't have to think about anybody else. You're simply like serving yourself the first time in the morning.
Yeah, definitely. I think what we can run through is, what's a day look like for both of us, and then we can tap into what are the top 3, 4, 5 non-negotiable habits, things that we need to do every single day so we can function as high performers. I consider myself as a high performer. I run a successful business. I train my ass off. I have a great family, and I've obviously, with my wife, we lead together, and we have to be on the top of our game. I've got 3 young men that are teenagers, and it's like, it's full on. So you have to be on top of your game. So what's a day look like for you, dude?
Pretty much all the same. So there'll be a couple things in between, but I was actually just sharing this with somebody. So Monday through Friday, I'm going to start the same. So like, I'll even just kind of break it down to a specific. So like Monday through Friday, I'll wake up at 3:05, and I'll either have something to do right immediately at 4 o'clock or something to do at 5 o'clock. And it has to do with running, or it has to do with start my first workout for the day.
Yeah, cool.
I'll have a little gap in between then and about 10, whether I'm coaching classes, clients, or maybe I'm just hanging out with my wife in the morning having some coffee. But then at 10 o'clock, we'll work out. And then at 10 o'clock, after we're done with that, this is kind of a cool thing, is my wife and I started to do this, but we'll connect every day for about 30 to 60 minutes. Yeah. And so we've been playing around with it, but it's been 11 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday. And the weekends are a little bit flex. But then the rest of the afternoon is pretty much for work and training clients and everything else. So I always like to share, Mike, is that by 10 o'clock, actually 11 o'clock, my physical requirements are done for the day.
Yeah, cool.
Right? What about you?
Yeah, so I'm a little mixed up when it comes to my morning routine or getting up in the morning. I do like to get up at anywhere between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, depending on what I'm doing. I run and cycle a bit, so I tend to, like this morning I was up at 3:45 to get on the bike with the crew, so I could get home for the kids, take them to school and all that stuff.
Totally.
But other mornings I set my alarm at 5:01 because it's not 5 a.m. It's 5:01. I tricked my head.
Yeah.
So I like that. The routine usually is I like to do something that kind of activates the brain straight away, whether it's reading something, listening to something, obviously breaking up the monotony. I like to have a coffee if I can, just because I love coffee and it's just a routine habit thing that gets me going in the morning. I have set times to take the kids to school. I usually do my cardio early. And then I'll do gym at about, say, 8:30, 9 o'clock after I take the kids to school. The really good thing is it's like right on the way there. So drop off, go to the gym, come home. And then I've got social media stuff I try to do before lunchtime, have lunch here by myself, have a swim. Wifey works away, so it's kind of hard. I only see her of an evening. Then the usual coaching all the way through the day. It's different to yours because I don't have an in-house business where I have to go in and coach people. So I'm kind of like on the phone or messaging all the time and making sure people are all right. And then, the afternoons are usually pretty cool. I try to make sure from 5 p.m. onwards till about 8, I have just family time. So, cooking dinner, having dinner with the family on the table, which is really important for connection.
Totally.
And then 8 o'clock, it's like, whether I catch up on the day or like some days during the week, usually on a Wednesday, I make sure I have a dead night, I call it, where I just like switch off. If it's Netflix or it's a movie or a video game or something that will just break my mind from being constantly active all day. And I just save one day of the week for that because I think it's important. If you get addicted to that stuff, you can lose yourself pretty well. And I do have like clients over in the UK and Denmark and stuff. So we kind of have late night meetings or early morning meetings with them. So it's kind of a bit jumbled, but it's managed really well because I've got a diary with everything locked in. So it's color coded. I can wake up in the morning and see roughly when training is. So I like to make sure that I have a bit of variety during the day. Working from home means I can do what I want, but also like that family time in the afternoon, switching off from 5 to 8, minimizing the amount of message I have is super important for me because the one thing, especially when you're purpose driven, is you get lost in your work.
Yep.
And it sacrifices something, and generally it's family time, and it's not on purpose. It's just the way life is. And if anyone out there is thinking, "Hey, I've got the perfect work-life balance," can you send me over the formula because I really need it? Because I don't fucking believe it. For me, it's like it's an equilibrium of happiness, right? Like you suffer if you put work in, your family suffers. If you put family effort in, work suffers. So it's getting an equilibrium. It's like putting the right amount of energy into the right thing at the right time and just trying to make it tip the scales one way or the other, but they're always around somehow.
Yeah. No, here's the question. What time do you go to bed at?
Great question. So I try to go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
When I say try, it's depending on if the meetings go over time. I function on about like this morning I went to bed at 8:30 last night so I could get 7 hours sleep, get on the bike because there's nothing worse than riding a bike in traffic when you're half asleep. It's crazy. So I try to get to bed like at 10. I try to be consistent. It's 10 o'clock, cut off, go straight to sleep if I can and get up at 5. So I get a decent amount of sleep. Years ago, I used to function off 5 hours and it's like absolutely terrible. You just cannot physically, and you can't catch up with that shit. So
Yeah.
The old the sleep debt's worse than the bank, mate. If you've got a mortgage, it comes hard and it knocks you
Yeah.
about when you're ready. How
Yeah.
about you, dude?
I'm in bed like 8:30, 9. If something's getting
Awesome.
crazy, yeah, 8:30, 9. That's on a really, really good day. I'll be like 8 o'clock, but I haven't done 8 o'clock in a long time. But 8:30, 9 o'clock, wife and we're already in bed. Lights are out. Boom.
Yeah,
And then
sweet.
sleep like a rock, and then wake up and do it all over again.
Yeah,
You know,
that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
like
I like
it.
what you were just saying because, like, when it comes to time and people when they say they don't have time to work out, and then the worst one is if they're like, "Yeah, well, I'm not a morning person," and like my coaching part will always come out and be like, "All right, well, let's have this conversation, right?"
Yeah,
But sometimes I'll just be like really straightforward. It's like, you know what, you've been stuck with where you've been at, and you're still telling yourself these lies. It's like you can be a morning person. And I share this. I don't know about you, Mike, but
yeah,
my mom would tell you I woke up at like 7:50, 7:55 growing up as a kid to school, and school started at 8,
yeah.
right? So,
Yeah,
but what I like what you were saying is that you do all your stuff first thing in the morning so the family doesn't suffer, right?
yeah.
And I would say that's where our hearts are completely joined because like when big runs, big training sessions, nobody even knows I'm gone,
Yeah.
So I'll sacrifice the sleep to knock that stuff out so I can then be there and they can see me at the house. They can see me at the
Yeah,
gym.
yeah. It's. Oh man, I can't tell you how important it is. I think I I didn't realize until I think probably 5 or 6 years ago the importance of the connection. Like I think it's not that I don't want to be with my family. It's just
Sure,
sometimes you focus on the wrong thing. And as
sure.
I said way back, was when you're passionate about something and you put your heart and soul into it, sometimes you do forget about the constants in life.
Totally,
And what's the
totally.
constant is your family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made a conscious decision to be more present,
Mm,
especially with my boys growing up and they're teenagers and they need a leadership father role that has to
totally.
be like on top of his game. So I wanted to step up and do that. And in order for me to do that, it was like, well, I have to sacrifice things. And
Yeah,
if it means
absolutely.
getting up early, I mean, I'll give you an example. My wife's up every day at about 3:45 every day because she has to go to the gym
Oh,
at 4. She has to get home by 5 to have a shower to get ready to leave home to go to work by 6:30. So
yeah,
like it's important for her to have exercise in her life because it's good for the mental health and not just the physical health. So,
totally.
she's made a massive sacrifice, and mate, let me poor thing by 7:30 at night, she's like a wreck. So,
Yeah, I bet.
totally understand, totally
Yeah.
understand. So, yeah, and that's what she has to do in order to function. She loves it, and she's a fantastic school teacher.
Mm.
But in order for her to have the physical exercise, she has to sacrifice something, and it's generally getting up uber early. So
Yeah.
so yeah, we can. I guess it's a good little segue. We're pretty good at doing segues into
Yeah.
talking about like what are like non-negotiables in our life that we use every single day to make sure that we can continue being high performance, but also um, have a reality check and say, hey, we're still dads, still partners.
Oh,
We've still
totally.
got family to look after.
Yeah. I'll start with one. I think in some realm or another, I'll always have some type of accountability, and that could be to myself. Like I'm really, really regiment. You can go in my calendar. You could look at my journal. You could look at things, and you'll see where I'm checking stuff off, and I know it's gonna happen, type of a thing. But
Yeah,
I check it off, or I have somebody that I'm like, hey, Mike, I'm doing this. I'm gonna do this for like the next 30, 90 days. Do you want to do this, right? And if Mike's crazy enough to be like, yes, Scott, I'll do it,
yeah,
boom, even better, right? But yeah, accountability. I have some type of accountability. Tuesday, Thursday morning, I run with a buddy named Eric, and we're up. We're on the street or in the trails by 4. Um, that's not easy, and I think
yeah,
every single morning, Mike, there's this like the negotiation that starts to happen. And I'm like, how does this even happen? I'm not even entertaining it.
yeah.
Um, what about you? Which one's for you?
Yeah, I that's a great what you've just said. Like I've got structure and programs down. Like I think that's similar is having that um, thing that you must do. Like I like to be organized in knowing what I'm going to do every sort of hour or so because
Mhm.
I'm limited with time. So if I don't have structure and programs in my life, I can't do the things that I love the most. And for me, like my headspace needs exercise. My mental clarity needs exercise. So that to me is physical movement is a non-negotiable every single day. Even on rest days, I still walk or I still do something or a swim. That'll just keep my body moving and it keeps the
I've seen that.
endorphins.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super important because as a new dad, I suffered depression really, really bad, and it was severely bad. Like,
Sure.
didn't want to be on the planet bad. That's how bad it
Oh,
was.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I had a really bad traumatic childhood. So for
Mm.
me, when I refound exercise and movement, it like sparked something in me that was like, well, I've got all this energy that I'm using negatively. Why can't I use it positively and get an outcome out of it? And the outcome is I get to push myself to the limits. I get to challenge my brain. I get to challenge my body physically, and I'm not hurting
Yeah.
anyone. I'm not hurting myself. I'm actually enhancing myself. So
Yeah.
exercise and movement is an absolute non-negotiable for me, purely for clarity of the mind as well as the physicality of the body. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll jump on right with you, man. And I kind of wanted to bounce right back at you. So, so rest day, and I'll go back to you really quick. So there's one day of the week, my family and I just kind of go dark. And
yeah,
we read a book called Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And pretty much it's such a rad book, dude. But what we did is we just took one day out of the week real serious, and for us it's Saturday. So we always look forward to Saturday. Like we're sleeping in, no alarm clocks, minimal phones, if anything. And it's really like kids and I will get up in the morning, we'll go get some donuts, and we'll watch movies and we'll just like chill out. Like we majority of the time don't have anything on the calendar that day just so we can reset.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, so but even on that day, I was gonna go back, I'll segment it back to it, is that I'll move my body every day, right? Because like that's huge. But I'll also have this one thing that I called my non-negotiable. My non-negotiable has 5 movements, and I'll do these every single day. And I'm doing it with one of my buddies, Malachi, right now up in Seattle. So I'll still move my body, you know what I mean? Even though it's a rest day. But I wanted to ask you, when did you realize the mental health benefits? Because in the beginning, man, like, and this is like all the way back to high school, like I didn't get it.
Yeah.
There was probably hints, but I was so far out, I didn't get it. So when did you get that?
Yeah, I can guarantee almost pinpoint the moment when I realized how important. Like I've got an older son who's got ADHD, and it was very challenging bringing him up, and that mental battle with thinking that you're a failure as a father because you don't understand things sometimes, like especially conditions like that, and also having a childhood where I didn't have a father and bringing me up, he was never around, and he was a raging alcoholic gambler, and it was a very difficult childhood, and I thought that's the route that I was going to go because I didn't know any different. So when I finally I think saw a psychologist first and got my headspace back into play, and then got like re-addicted to exercise because I used to be very active as a young kid. I played soccer all the time. When I got back into exercise and found that endorphin rush and found the peace and serenity of being like, especially on the bike. If I'm on the bike for 5 hours by myself, I've got nothing but me. I've got to just stay safe and not get hit by a car, but I've also got to challenge myself to keep pushing further and further. And when I realized anger is energy that needs to be expelled, right? And you can use that fuel as positive energy for cycling or running or lifting weights or whatever it is. When I figured out that anger is energy, I dissipated my anger really quickly because I could go, hey, I'm actually feeling pretty up shit creek right now. I need to get on the bike, or I need to go and do something to make myself feel better. And once I got into that routine and figured out that anything to do with the day, the week, the month that built up and put pressure on me or whatever, I had an opportunity to go and put that anger into something that was more positive to myself. So yeah, it was around about my mid-30s, dude. I'm 45 now. Okay. So it took me a long time to realize. But I think for me, if I didn't go through those challenges in life and didn't suffer, like I've got a picture of myself on in front of my desk here when I was at my heaviest. I was 125 kilos. That's what's that? 100, 270
Like
pounds, maybe?
260, yeah, or 270,
Yeah,
yeah.
something like that. So
Wow.
it's a pretty big guy. Yeah, and that guy is the reason why I do what I do today. So I look at him every morning and I'm like, you suffered, so I don't have
Yeah,
to. So I owe you to be the best I can be.
yeah. Dude, that's good, man. That gave me chills.
Yeah, it's the truth, though. Like, that's why
Yeah,
I guess people like you and I are relatable to a lot of the general public because there's so much bullshit online. Okay, like
yeah,
there's so many people out there that are taking steroids. There's so many people out there that are malnourishing themselves so they can keep a six pack all year round. There's so
yeah,
many of them that get filmed doing an ice bath, but they've probably done it once so they can get a kickback from someone. And there's so
sure.
many dickheads promoting um, all this shit that you put into your body that you're just pissing out at the end of the day. We're relatable dudes. We've done the
Yeah,
hard work.
yeah,
Right? We've done the
yeah,
hard work. We've
yeah,
suffered and endured.
yeah,
So we're relatable.
yeah. And I'd like to add to that one, Mike, because I think that, you know, we're relatable, we've suffered, we've done stuff, right? The neat part, dude, is that we're still doing it,
Yeah.
right? So like that's like my non-negotiable if we want to kind of transit into that where, you know, movement. But like I'll lead by example at all times. The moment that I stop doing what I, you know, coach my clients to do, I don't know what I'll do because I don't know what to do. I've been doing this for a while, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I won't, you know, and that's the thing is like I've worked with fat trainers, I've worked with just hypocrite trainers that are just not super awesome people. Um, they just made their clients do just really god awful things, and they weren't even doing that. And I was like, I won't be that guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. Um, so yeah, I mean, just live into that code, you know, that and humility, right? So being very, very vulnerable, you know.
Dude, vulnerability was the thing that changed my life when I realized that if I was authentic, if I was me, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know anything about anything else and other than being who I am,
Sure.
I actually have started, but I want to finish it in a few years. I'm writing a book called The Masks. Sorry, The Masks of Expectation. Right.
Mm,
So all of
mm,
us out there have a mask we wear for every situation. Right.
sure. Mm-hmm.
You have a coach's mask. You have a
Yep.
dad's mask. You have a
Yep.
friend's mask. We hide behind those masks so much, especially when we're in our younger years. We need to be doing the right thing, so we get the mask of courage to be with the person that does that thing, or we have we have bullies at school and we wear these masks of fear. And
Mm,
when you can take all those masks off and just be you,
yeah.
like unequivocally balls to the wall you, and you lose people and you gain people. Like the people
Mm,
that matter are the ones that are going to stick behind and they believe who you are, and the people that don't, it doesn't matter to me at all.
yeah.
um, Once I got rid of all those masks and realized how easy it was to just be me,
Mm-hmm.
and how much people actually appreciated who I am for just being me,
Mm,
you're like, you really don't realize the impact until somebody says to you, "Hey, your vibe's awesome because of this reason." I'm
mm,
like, "Hey, I'm just being me."
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and humility is a big thing, but like one of my non-negotiables is gratitude, man, every
Mm,
single day. And
yeah.
it's going out of my way to tell people that do something just that little bit better than anybody else that how much I
Mm,
appreciate them. It could be a barista at a cafe that spent a little bit extra time making my coffee really, really well and just served me really well. I
yeah.
make sure that I say, "Hey, you've done an outstanding job. Where's your boss? Let me tell your boss as well." I want them to
Yeah.
be rewarded and remunerated for it because I think it's
Yeah.
important, but
Yeah.
also gratitude in yourself.
Mm,
Like that's the thing we miss the most as humans.
yeah.
We are
Yeah.
so quick to pass on a compliment, but we are
Mm.
so quick to flick past accepting one back.
Oh my gosh. Dude. Okay. So there's a gal. She was literally at my 6 o'clock class yesterday. And it's funny you just said that because she leaves and she yells, "Hey, I appreciate you." Right. I felt like the inner side of me just like, "Oh, have a good day." You know, when in reality, I was like, dude, that really touched my soul. You know, I'd
Yeah,
be like, holy crap, that just made me. So, anyways, I'll see her tomorrow morning. And I just told myself, I'm going to tell her that because that's vulnerability right there, right? Like it's
100%. Yep, it's something I like to tell my clients all the time, especially if you give them a compliment, they always, flick it back and divert it to something else. I'm like, just
yeah,
fucking accept it,
yeah,
please. Just
yeah,
accept it, acknowledge it, marinate in it. Like,
yeah,
listen to what's being told to you because
yeah,
that's what you need to move forward in life. You need to understand how good you are. You need to
yeah,
push those positive aspects.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, dude.
I got a message the other day from a client telling me, how much she appreciated and blah blah blah. And I was being a smart ass and I kind of deflected it. And she said, just do what you told me to do, accept it and acknowledge it. And I was like, yeah, I know. But it was good to know that what I'm practicing is obviously and preaching is going through
Totally.
to the right ears. So yeah,
Yeah,
you tomorrow saying to her, like, I really appreciate what you said to me. It actually makes me feel like I'm doing a good job. And
yeah.
like, that's what I'm looking for. You know what? One of the greatest sayings I ever heard from a favorite coach of mine who used to work with us, Courtney. She said to me, Michael, validation is for parking,
Validation is for parking.
right? We don't need validation.
Yeah.
I guess,
Oh,
it's like,
yeah,
it's such a powerful saying. Validation is for parking. We don't need validation. Recognition is great, right? But validation,
yeah,
fuck that.
yeah.
We don't need validation.
Ooh, that's good, man. That's
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I like that. First of all, I'm excited to hear about that book that you're going to eventually pull out. You know what I mean? But just showing up as you, I think, you know what the thing was is like Gary Vee, this is like years ago when he was like doing his thing and he was like, hey, don't ever rewatch a video. Just make it, put it out. Nobody cares. Maybe
Yeah,
two people watch it and it sucks. Who cares? But kind of like he's put that out there and it's been cool because he's like, I don't know, he's a giant in my world, you
yeah,
know?
me too.
And with that, it's like just be you,
Yeah,
right? It's easier to be you. You ever watch Judge Judy? Got that over in Australia?
yeah,
She's like, I don't know, I'm gonna jack it up, but to remember the truth or whatever, like you don't have to be. Oh, I'm jacking it up right now. But anyways, when you tell the truth, you don't have to be a good liar, or when you
yeah,
tell the truth, you don't have to remember things. It's
yeah,
just what happened. And it's just the
yeah,
same
yeah,
thing as you. It's like be you, you know. Um, and just more of like a dad thing. Like I started to do it with my kids. I'm like, hey, dude, that really hurt my feelings, you know? And it allows the kid to come up and possibly do the same thing. Like, yo, that kind of hurt. I'm like,
yeah,
all right, my
yeah,
bad, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So,
But also on and acknowledging and apologizing as well as a parent or as a leader,
oh,
like
big
fixing your
time.
mistakes is super
Yeah.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
it shows the humility side of things. It shows that you're actually real and you're not there for any other reason than
Oh, totally. Yeah.
leading,
I mean,
leading.
dude, here would be a really good thing if anybody's watching and we, right, Mike and I are not your coach and we're not whatever. We're not your coach, right? But
Yeah,
you're looking for a coach. Like that would be the first thing to look for is that humility factor and relatability, right?
yeah,
Relatability. Um, when people, I don't know about you, Mike, but people, whether they're looking for a gym or they're moving away from here or they're traveling, and I will just tell them, it's like these are a couple things that you're gonna need to look for in a gym, right? Do
yeah,
this and this, and a bad gym and bad coaches and bad owners will snuff themselves out real quick,
yeah.
you know. So
Definitely. It's like that old saying, your vibe attracts your tribe, right?
totally, yeah, absolutely,
If you give
yeah,
off good intentions and good vibrations, and you have people's best interests at heart, generally you'll find that the right people will come to you.
yep,
Like even in our academy, we have a no dickhead policy, right? Of
yeah,
anybody that's a negative, toxic person has got to go. But I have that's the same thing with my coaching. It's like if I give you 100% and you're giving me 60,
mm,
I don't want your money
mm-hmm.
as I don't have the energy for that. I want you to to understand you put your hand up and ask for help. I want you to
Yeah,
put the effort in and get the rewards out of it because
yeah,
it's important to you that you get there. It's important to me as a coach, yeah, but it's more important to you that you can
yeah,
lead or do the things that you want to do. So, yeah,
mm,
it's hard. It's hard, especially when you're an empath, right? Like I absorb everyone's energy, positive or negative, and
yeah,
it drains you at the end of the day. Because if it's a bunch of negativity, it's
mm-hmm.
really hard to process that into positivity and try and use it in some sort
Oh,
of good
totally,
way. Yeah.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
get home. It's like I used to work in construction for years and I was a manager. And the young guys that were physically active on site couldn't understand why I was exhausted at the end of the day. But you haven't done any physical work. I'm like, but I've been thinking the whole day of how to solve
Yeah.
all the world's problems on site. Like, you don't understand how much energy that actually takes to do that. And it's no different
Totally.
with being a parent, being a business person, being someone that, you know, trying to aim for greatness. If you're using your brain all the time to think and move and like plan the next activity, and you don't have structure, you don't have gratitude, you don't have humility, you don't have all those other things in life, it's going to be very, very hard for you to function. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought up Gary Vee, because he's a phenomenal dude. Like, one thing he said, and I'll remember this forever, is the more you look back, the more your neck hurts.
Ooh, that's good.
It's brilliant, right? Absolutely brilliant. It's like, why do we spend so much time looking in the past? I don't, you know, that doesn't define who you are now. It actually was the catalyst for change in my eyes. It's I guess the forced reset. The past is the forced reset. It's also the thing that it brought you to where you are now, but it doesn't have to define where you go. So yeah, I'm a big believer in looking forward, always looking for something positive out of any situation. So I can always be, working at the energy that I need to be at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's helpful to as a coach, right? So as you walk into whoever's life, right, and they got today bad, or they just screwed away a whole week of hard work, right? Well, you know, you get to be like, hey, so Marianne, it's no big deal because you can't do anything about it. However, you can do something tomorrow, and let's start that new streak or whatever. But, you know, take the emotion out of the failure feeling, whatever they're feeling, and be like, yo, let's change tomorrow, you know? So that's good, man. That's real good.
Yeah. So I think the moral of today's chat with you and me is, if you want to be at a certain place in life, regardless of what it is, physically, mentally, spiritually, monetarily, if you don't have a set of basics that you need to follow every single day to get into there, you will not get there. You need a program to work out in the gym. You can't just walk into a gym and guess, because it's just not going to work. You need a nutrition plan in your life to stay fit and healthy. You need a finance budgeting system at home so you can survive and not suffer. Like, you need somebody or a circle of friends that are going to give positive outlook in your life. If not, you're going to be full of negative people and you're going to go downwards instead of upwards. So find some of these world-class basics that you can absolutely nail every single day, get those habits going, and you'll go to the place that you need to be.
Yeah, I love it, man. That was good stuff. That's really good stuff. Well, first of all, we're on for next week, right?
Yep.
All right.
100%.
Yeah, well, I'll close it with this. Is like, I'm huge on consistency, right? So like, you find what you're gonna do, and you start real small. You might have 5 things to do. Start with 1, and just get really good at doing it every day, right? Consistently every single day. And one of my buddies, Joe Bauer, taught me this is, you know, put in your calendar. So that's the thing that I've kind of forward onto it. But every day at 10 o'clock, right? That's my training day. Okay. And if for whatever reason I can't train at 10 o'clock, then I need to reschedule with myself. Now, nobody knows if I do this or not, right? But I know. But it's in the calendar. It happens every day. I'm not taking any clients. I'm not doing anything, right? That's going to be done at 10 o'clock, right? And it's protected. So nothing outdoes that, because, you know, when other people get the best energy, right, and you're the bottom of the totem pole, you'll lose. You know, do that enough time, Mike, you'll lose, right? So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's, you know, it's like funny. Your brain is the same as your body. If you feed your body full of shit, you'll turn out to be overweight. But if you feed your brain full of shit, you'll end up with a shitty brain. So more positivity, more thoroughness, more humility, more vulnerability. That's the nutrition for a healthy mindset, right?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Write that out, man. Write that out before you forget it.
We'll clip that and use it as a reel for next time. A good friend of ours, Barb, who's actually in our program too, she's just said it's such a good comparison. We plan our budgets and work, but we expect to do random stuff at the gym and get results. 100%. It's that's why you need someone to show you the way. Actually, you know what? Barb would be a great person to come on and do a chat with us as well. She's an awesome coach. Yeah, she's an awesome coach. So I'll tee it up with her.
Okay.
For sure.
Cool,
but thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. This is great. Like,
Yeah.
I like being around you a lot because I think your energy
I'm
is
with
really,
you.
really cool and it feeds me. It makes me sort
Mm.
of hungry to do more. But I think
Thanks, man.
our experience, just hopefully somebody out there learnt something today that is going to get them to step up a little bit in
Totally.
life.
No, man. I always say this, Mike. It's like we can get one person, right? I saw David Cook's name in the far right, and I started to say, David, one person gets something from today, dude. We win, right?
Yeah.
We win. So,
Yeah, big time. It's
cool.
one of my old coaches said to me, he said, focus on the one. And I said, what do you mean? That's what he meant, was one person every single day, just help one
Yeah.
person. So it doesn't have to be someone you coach. It could be a family friend. It could be someone on the street. If you, it just brings back that gratitude. Brings
So
back
true,
gratitude.
man.
So,
So true, man.
cool, dude.
Cool,
All right.
brother. Well, I'll
Thanks,
see
man.
you next week.
You will. And
right.
thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, brother. Have a good Friday or Friday morning, I should say to you.
Yeah.